Kemon Spell is a dude. Let's go ahead and talk about this awesome kind of running back group we have right now in the prep ranks. Tell us about Spell.
Yeah, bud. And I think me and you were talking about this over the weekend, right? You kind of watch college football right now. There isn't maybe a go-to clear-cut number one running back out there in the country. I mean, Ahmad Hardy at Missouri, Justice Haynes at Michigan. I think both those guys were the midseason All-Americans for CBS Sports, which came out earlier this week. To me, over the past few weeks, getting into the senior tape, getting into the juniors, I think there are like 4 running backs out there right now that can be the faces of offenses, guys that can carry teams to the college football playoff. And I think it starts with Kemon Spell. He is a 5-star running back in the class of 2027. This is a kid that had been committed to Penn State for well over a year. He goes ahead and formally decommits on Sunday after that James Franklin news, hits the wire. And this was kind of in the works, right? A ton of schools have been making a move on Kemon Spell, but how good is he? Well, here are the first 3 touches of his junior year. He had a 98-yard kickoff return. The next time he touched the ball, it was a 56-yard touchdown run. And then the next time, the third time, was an 80-yard touchdown. So I call him a jackrabbit mixed with a tank, right? He is like super elusive. Agility, it's all there. But when people get their hands on him, extremely difficult to get him on the ground. Everyone in the country's on this kid. But if we listed him, I just was watching his most recent game from last week. We could list him as like a safety linebacker. He's going to be a top 247 player for us. He is a football player, excellent on the 7-on-7 circuit when he's been asked to catch passes. So he's got that 3-down capability. We haven't settled on a comp for him just yet, but I want everyone to picture Ashton Jeanty. I mean, this is a guy where, we're talking 25, 30 carries if you wanted to with Kemon Spell. And, Ohio State's in there, Michigan's in there, Notre Dame's in there. Brian Doan at 24/7 Sports kind of had a what's next for Kemon Spell on Monday. He's going to have no shortage of options.
I mean, when you watch him, I think that Jeanty comp is really good. Like from a size perspective, I was thinking MJD, but the running style is certainly much closer to Jeanty. I think that's a great pull, by you. But he's not the only one in the prep ranks right now who is really looking, as you mentioned, like a complete stud. How about the kid going to Michigan? Tell me about him.
Yeah, bud, and I'm calling my shot right now. So this is before all the college football media gets ahead of it. I think Michigan is going to have the best backfield in 2026. Now, everything needs to stay in place. There can't be transfers in or out. But think about it. You have Bryce Underwood, the true freshman sensation at quarterback. Justice Haynes is going to come back. Jordan Marshall is going to come back. And then, hey, here's this 5-star running back, Savion Hiter. But I was actually writing up his teammate, a wide receiver last week, and my eyes kept going to Savion Hiter. And it's like, hey, first run, 50-yard touchdown. Next run, hits 6 yards in the backfield, still manages to get 6 yards. I think he's got everything to be a featured back, and he's there in Virginia. Total package, power, speed, vision, creativity, hits the hole with plenty of juice, downhill momentum. Reminds me of actually Nick Singleton at Penn State. I think he's got some Nick Single to him. He was a 5-star running back. We'll see where he goes in the NFL draft. Young for the grade, right? So he's only 17 years old. This is a guy that could play another year of high school football if he wanted to. And then the testing profile on Savion is unreal. 4.17 in the short shuttle. He's gotten 22 feet in the long jump. And I know those are numbers that people are like, oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? For my studies, hey, short shuttle is the number one indicator of future success at these running backs. And Savion's got one of the best in the class. So I think for Michigan, hey, you got your quarterback figured out. You got this run game, right? I think they're 19th nationally right now in rushing offense. And then, they're going to drop in a guy that should be able to contribute day one there in Ann Arbor.
Man, that is going to be a lot of fun for Michigan fans to watch. Today's a nice little bit of positivity for them, coming off that loss to USC. Next thing I want to ask you about here, Crowell who's a commitment to Alabama. Is he related to Ezavier Crowell?
I do
Really
not
good back from like 10 or 12 years ago. He was committed to Alabama for a bit.
I do not believe so.
Okay.
But I think the big message here is Bama's got another Bama running back coming down the pipeline. Yeah. I think they've been kind of missing that in recent cycles. And this is no shot at Jam Miller or any of these guys, but you go back to when Nick Saban obviously had Alabama humming. I mean, they had a dude at running back, and Ezavier Crowell, he's a kid that reclassified, right? So he was in the class of 2027. He has moved into the class of 2026. And right now he's running back number 4 for us, like number 71 overall, but he's going to finish much, much, much higher in the rankings. Thick cut, right? So he's like 210 pounds, but such an easy mover, lateral quickness, always finishing forward. This is a guy that can also catch the ball out of the backfield. I love his bend. I love his agility. As a senior, he's got like 3 full defender hurdles on the highlight reel. He is someone that I think is playing his best football right now. He's going to head to college with over 5,000 career rushing yards. Another one where like the testing profile is off the charts. And to me, Alabama, Jam Miller is going to be gone. I'm very familiar with the other running backs, having scouted them over the years. I think Crowell, if you're looking for an early candidate to be like, hey, potential freshman All-American, I think it's Crowell. Like, I think it sets up perfectly for him to come in. He's got that three down capability. And certainly, I think a name to know. Alabama got him to shut that recruitment down, but I don't think other schools are going to keep trying to chip away as we get closer to signing day.
Man, you said, when I watched that Missouri game, I was like, man, Bama's really committed to the run here. Obviously, Missouri has an elite pass rush. I don't think they want to drop back 40 times in Columbia. But God, it'd be nice if they had a kid who could actually break one. Like Jam Miller, due credit, was a workhorse for them in that ball game. It ended up getting himself knocked out there kind of late in the third or early in the fourth quarter. But if they just had a guy who could hit a home run like a Justice Haynes, then maybe that's a little bit more comfortable of a win for them when facing Missouri. All right, another great battle.
But he reminds me of? He reminds me of Josh Jacobs from, what was that, like 2018 Bama? First rounder in 2019, like some similarities, right? Just low to the ground run style, but those guys can do a little bit of everything. And I think the biggest thing with Crowell and Jacobs is the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, right? You can put them in the slot. They're not just guys that are check down options.
No, 100%. All right, so last year we had a lot of hype leading up to the playoff game. It ended up not being much of a game at all, and that was a battle between Ohio State and Tennessee. And these two are actually facing off for a top-flight running back here in Gabriel-Georges in the 2027 class. I know he visited Tennessee over the weekend. What do you like about this guy?
Oh, well, Bud, from what I've heard through the college contacts, like whatever this guy's number is, schools are going to pay for him. And he is a super unique story. Josh Jacobs, originally from Canada, and I think he's going to be the best Canadian-born running back maybe since Chuba Hubbard, right? Like, this guy is the real deal. He's in the class of 2027. Talking with Tom Loy, some other people at 24/7 Sports. A lot of rumors, hey, he might reclassify and jump into 2026. I don't know if that's going to happen. He's going to the Baylor school there in Tennessee, but man, he is everything you want, right? In a featured running back. He's 6'1", 200 pounds. He's got the speed, got the vision, got the agility. Recruitment is very unique because he is from Canada. And when he was at Tennessee over the weekend, read, according to GoVols 247, like Tennessee needed a translator, right? French translator to kind of work with mom and dad and explain to them, hey, this is SEC football. But he's a kid where I don't think nationally a lot are talking about him, but man, against top flight competition this season, like best on best settings, he has delivered. We're calling him DGG as the nickname, David Gabriel-Georges, but man, he's what you want. And all 4 of these guys, I think, could be, that featured back for a college football playoff contender. And David Gabriel-Georges, he's one where, compared to the others, I think the recruitment's a little bit more open. But man, Ohio State, he's like Bo Jackson, but I think to another level. And we've seen what Bo Jackson has been able to do as a true freshman for the Buckeyes.
Can I suggest D2G?
D2G, I like that.
It kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. I feel like there's some branding opportunities for him if he wanted to do that.
Like, well, we were playing off the DGB, Dorial Green, but D2G I like as well.
So we know from your research that reclassing from a development perspective, from actually having success in college perspective, is not a lock, but more often than not, probably not ideal. There are some guys who have done it, who've had success. Now, granted, like the financial component is big here too. If you reclass, you get paid a year earlier, right? Like the most important, $500,000 you're ever going to make is the first. So from a financial component, totally get reclassing. Like this guy's film looks like he's ready. I don't know if he needs another year of high school football. So I'm curious, how much do we think the reclass analysis you've done is applicable to the running back position?
Oh, I think running backs, it's the easiest position for true freshmen to get on the field. That's what it was in when we looked at the 2024 college football season, all the true freshman running back, and a lot of them had, transferred up. Ahmad Hardy, Fluff Bothwell, those guys went from the G5 ranks and up into Power 4. I said, hey, if I was a Power 4 program, I wouldn't pay big money for one of these running backs. I would just look to find the G5 guy that is having the best season and try to grab them. And we've seen that with Ahmad Hardy. Hey, Mekhi Hughes, maybe at Tulane, it hasn't worked out as well. I think it makes a ton of sense because, there's only so much tread for these running backs. And from what I've gathered with the reclassification, right, the ones that are having success right away in college, so that would be, the Ryan Williams, that would be the Malachi Toney, Antoine Redmond at Rutgers is a running back that reclassified. What we have found out, LT Overton at Alabama, is the kids that also were getting a ton of workload as freshmen in high school, right? And some of them even as eighth graders. Those are the ones that hit, right? Like they have already played 4 or 5 years of high school football, and those are the ones that seem to be ready to go. And with the case with D2G, as you're calling him, Gabriel-Georges, he was Mr. Football in Tennessee last year. He's ready to go. Crowell is going to have scored close to 100 touchdowns and ran for 6,000 yards in high school. Like those guys aren't one-hit wonders. They've been doing it year after year after year. And the thing I'm always looking for with these running backs, I said that short area quickness, are they home run hitters, right? Like the kids that end up getting drafted are usually the ones in the youth league parks that are scoring touchdowns. Like that never changes. You don't kind of just figure that out. Like you got to have it from an early age. And I think all 4 of these running backs, they fit that category.
That makes a lot of sense to me. So speaking of recruiting, so this is the recruiting hour here on the Cover 3 podcast, joined by Andrew Ivins, National Director of Scouting, Recruiting. Dude, you just do it all. Like your title should just be like everything recruiting for 24/7 Sports.